Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. I got a review for you. This is going to be DC Comics, Nubia and the Amazons, #1. This goes out to HK Wifey 420, Sheena, always keeping me on my toes, asking for these reviews, and I love that. I do take requests for reviews. For those who don't know, if I haven't produced one, just hit me up and I'll get up on it. Let's get into the who's and what's. We got, it's written by Stephanie Williams and Vita. Artist is Alitha Martinez. We got colors by Emilio Lopez and letters by Becca, Carey. If I mispronounce those names, I apologize. It's never out of disrespect. I mean, the art, I want to say the art's probably like the subpar part of the comic. It's not bad, but I mean, compared to what Wonder Woman has going in DC Comics, for me it's kind of subpar. Now the story is excellent. It's actually pretty easy to follow, and it's actually pretty plain and simple, right? So it starts out in a flashback with Nubia, and it's her being reborn from the Well of Souls, way back in when she first appeared as a Nubia. And she basically has this dream of going back and remembering that time when she came out of the Well of Springs. After you get that little flashback stuff, they do jump forward, and they kind of mention at the moment that the Well of Springs is closed, and it's been closed for a while, and you kind of get the setting that it happens quite often. It's not something that's new. It's something that I mean, it's like a I think it depends on the depletion of the Amazons that they have in Themyscira, because basically what it is resurrecting like more Amazonians to the tribe, right? Because I've heard it in numerous different ways of how they add additions to the Amazonians, but I think this is the one where they're going with, and they have been going for a while, which is the Well of Springs. And basically they use vessels and bring women that died in this world, like their souls go to the Well of Springs, and then when the vessels are ready, they are like transmuted into new bodies, and they don't remember their life before, but it's basically like they're being reborn, and that's what happened to Nubia. That's what happened to a bunch of the Amazonians throughout the Wonder Woman storyline. Now, I'm not a Wonder Woman guru by any sorts. I've read very little Wonder Woman over the years, but this is specifically tying into what Wonder Woman is going through recently, because as we start the book, they do talk about Wonder Woman coming back into the continuity and stuff, because a lot of people thought she was just dead and stuff. So with her resurrection, the Well of Springs has started to stir and activate, kind of thing. They do go into a description, and I'll read that real quick for clarification. But it says, the Well of Springs, a place where the souls of women who died through acts of violence in man's world reside. Only these souls can be reincarnated into new Amazons of Themyscira. And then basically you have the Caretaker, which is a very old Diana friend, but she is kind of like the wizard for the Amazonians, and she's like, she watches out for the wellspring and stuff like that. So they go through, and they do have an introduction of new souls that enter new vessels, and we get like, I think it's like 6 to 7 new women Amazonians. They are greeted. They're they're kind of like, they don't understand what is going on. Most of them think they are dead, and they did die in their past lives, but they think that they're in like heaven or hell, and it's quickly explained that it's not, that they're Amazonians. And it's kind of like they have to go through this kind of preschool kind of method where they're caught up to date on how what their role is and stuff like that. And they do kind of go through this school setting, because like basically after they get settled, they do have this test to see what they're skilled at naturally, like as far as warrior settings, like problem solving skills. But they do get to one point where they are handed an artifact, and it is called a labyrinth, and it's a toy, and it's like a ball, and it's basically this thing where you're supposed to turn around like a little marble and get the marble to the end of the labyrinth. And even as they give them the test, it said, it's spoken as it's going to take a long time. And instantly we do see one of the new recruits, her name is Bay, and she ends up solving the puzzle like almost instantly, kind of claiming that she could see bits and pieces of moments before she knew what she was doing, kind of thing. They do eventually get to a ceremony that Nubia has, and it's basically they get their formal introduction into the Amazonian tribe. And they basically get all their names, and I can read you off some of the names real quick. We got Andromeda, Xena, Delphina, Carisi, Bai or Bay, and I think that's all the new recruits that they get at that time. There is some, there's different quotes that pop up, like, man, I don't remember what I used to be, kind of thing. I feel like I used to be a marine biologist and stuff like that. And it's conversation between all the new women, because they're all kind of like, trying to piece together what's going on and where they are and how, because they do know they lived before and they felt like something bad happened at the end, kind of thing. They do get into this moment where, they start asking Queen Nubia about like the questioning of the intake or the rise of the souls that are coming to the wellspring, because it has been dormant for quite a while, and Nubia attributes it to Wonder Woman reappearing in continuity, and like because she came back to life, she brought back more life energy with her, kind of thing, and it allowed these new Amazonians to be born. It kind of does this flash thing, and this is where it's kind of confusing, but it's not really confusing, it's just we don't know yet, because a lot of it at this point is just build up for what's coming. But they do mention that that in the wellspring they are looking at champion to guard Doom's doorway. I'm not familiar what that is, but I'm assuming it has to be something that somebody in the Amazonian tribe is tasked with guarding, and of course, Doom's doorway. But so supposedly, like Nubia goes to sleep that night after the whole, arrangement and everything, the banquet for the newcomers, and basically, she kind of has these visions of what looks like things to come, and it shows like, pictures of Diana holding a baby, and it looks like the baby has died. It looks like parts of like Greece and stuff like that has been on fire, stuff like that. They kind of implement this wolf. They show like a black wolf that appears quite often. They do show some other animalistic, like they show a hawk, and specifically a cheetah. We know cheetah, and, but a lot of the times they show Diana in like blood tears. And it's a lot of like images and it's basically, you take it as like things that maybe a possibility of things to come, kind of thing, and that's why they're getting these visions. At the very end, two of the Amazonians, like not Nubia, but not any of the new recruits, I think it's Sophia and I can't remember the other name, but it's two separate Amazonians, and one of the women wake up from one of those dreams, because she's getting imagery too, because Nubia is, and a couple other, they're getting like images from the future, and in her dream she's seeing something different than Nubia and the other one's getting, because in her dream she's seeing Doom's doorway, and in front of Doom's doorway, and Doom's doorway is near where the wellspring is, but there is a champion that's there guarding Doom's doorway at the moment, and in her dream she sees like a fog creep through the doorway and immediately turns the champion into stone, and it looks like the stone is already starting to brick and fall away, like old age, kind of thing, and that's where the issue leaves off at. It's a really easy story, because it's straightforward. Like it reads just like how I kind of described it. To a first issue, it's amazing, because it's all story set up, and you're getting used to this idea of these new Amazonians and stuff like that. As far as like amazing comic ever or nothing, no, it's nothing like that, and it's not. I don't even know if I'd recommend it by itself, kind of thing. But I'm highly interested in where the series is going, because we have already seen other elements in Wonder Woman, and we do know some things are in play, specifically with Nubia, specifically with the like the Brazilian Amazons and stuff like that. So I have to figure that's going to be that curve of the story that's going to tie into Wonder Woman. And currently I am reading Wonder Woman, so that's what kind of led me to this. Okay, now with all that being said, I know there's this weird conversation going around about a transgender Amazonian, like the first transgender Amazonian, which I mentioned her name, it's supposed to be Bay. I read this comic now 3 times, and I don't see any sign of... for one, it doesn't make any sense, because I mean, women are only allowed at Themyscira. Yes, they do bring like Batman and other men into Themyscira, but they are brought into Themyscira. As far as I know, no one can sneak into Themyscira because the magic that surrounds Themyscira keeps men out of Themyscira. It's not like even if Superman goes looking for Themyscira, he can't find it without being allowed entrance, without the magic being dispelled for him to find it. As far as my understanding. Even in the description of the wellspring, it does say that they're from man's world, which is our world, but it is women's spirits that make it to the wellspring, and even the vessels that they make for and it's kind of weird because I did see that comic come from one of I don't remember if it was the writer or the artist, but they did make that comment saying this was the first transgender, so maybe it was supposed to be, and there's typos or something, but I don't see it. I didn't see it. Until someone had mentioned it, I really didn't see that part of the story, so, on my end, it's not there. And if it was the first transgender, like, Amazonian, I think I would be all for that. That would be kind of be cool. I know that not a lot of people are going to like that, but if you could think about the ramifications of what it really means, like the logic behind it, it really means that like a man is that badass where he could trick the Amazonians like to sneak in. I don't know, it sounds kind of cool in the concept and stuff. It sounds like one of those ideas that, yes, it's in your face and everything, but it is out of the weird concepts, and it's not too, it's a concept I can get behind. It's not something that I see that because the Amazonians, besides Wonder Woman and stuff like that, there's not a lot of love story in the Amazonians besides her and Steve, but hey, that's my review. Let me know what you thought. I don't know. It's really confusing because I analyzed this comic looking for that, and that's why I went back and read it again, because I wanted to enjoy the comic, and it is a really good read, and it's not, I didn't see any of that what people were talking about, and I know right now it's in your face, and I understand, and for a part of me, I believe it needs to be in our face, but I'm kind of in the middle about it. To me, it doesn't. I don't read comics, especially superhero comics, for the romance kind of thing. I don't know. I'm rambling now, but alright guys, see you later.